Good morning. I am speaking to you today from a hotel room in Singapore, and I am going to talk about a study by Lehman and Björnberg, which was done in 2010. The title of the study, or the title of the paper of the study, is called Conversations, Development, and Gender, a study of changes in children's concepts of punishment. And it was published in the Child Development Journal, number 81, in 2010, and it was on pages 958 to 971. The rationale for this study examines children's conversations and judgments about what constitutes fair punishment. The study focuses on gender to explore children's social identity and any impacts in relation to social dynamics and the link to moral reasoning. The study looks at the content and the dynamics of children's conversations to consider if there's a change in judgment after they have conversations with each other. There are 5 hypotheses in the study. The first hypothesis considered is boys will interrupt more than girls. The second is that boys will interrupt more than girls generally, but especially in a boy-girl pairing. The third hypothesis is that conversation between children on the punishment task will be associated with developmental changes regarding the types of punishment. The fourth hypothesis is that gender would not influence the type of punishment considered fair. And the fifth hypothesis is that no particular argument would be associated with developmental changes. The participants in the study were 133 children from 2 consecutive year groups in a school in England. There were 42 boys and 26 girls aged between 8.5 and 9.5, and there were 35 boys and 30 girls aged between 9.4 and 10.5 years. The methodology for the study. There were 4 phases of the study, and in the first phase, all participants independently judged which was the fairest of 2 punishments in each of a set of stories about a child's misbehaviour. So they were read stories about a child's misbehaviour. In the second phase, the children who were not in the control group were placed in a pair with a child who'd given a different response to the story in the first phase, and they were asked to discuss and agree on a fair punishment. The children in the control group were asked to give a response individually, so they weren't involved in conversation. The third part of the study was that 2 weeks later, children were asked to independently rate the fairness of the punishment, so with the progress of time. And the fourth part of the study looked at 8 weeks later, after the first day, and children were again asked to make judgments about the fairness of the punishment. And they were asked to do that independently. The findings regarding the hypotheses, because there were 5, number 1 was that boys did interrupt more than girls. So that hypothesis was confirmed. The second hypothesis, that boys will interrupt more than girls, but especially in a boy-girl pairing, that hypothesis was not confirmed. The third hypothesis around conversation between children on the punishment, relating that to developmental changes according to their age and regarding the types of punishment that were seen fair, that hypothesis was confirmed. The conversation between children resulted in judgments of a higher order developmentally, according to Piaget's developmental stages, regarding punishment by reciprocity. The fourth hypothesis was confirmed, that gender did not impact on the type of punishment considered fair. And the fifth hypothesis was confirmed, and no relation was found between conversation content and their development in terms of Piaget's stages of development. In terms of the conclusions found in the study, the findings show that conversation between peers leads to development in judgment, but the study found that no effect of the conversation dynamics or the content impacted on longer term development, which for the researchers, they say that indicates that conversation on a topic may stimulate a process of individual reflection that then triggers the developmental advances. It appears that the learning benefits are due to that post-conversation reflection rather than the conversation itself. The limitations for the study: the story provided to the children and the options available for discipline were limited to only 2 options in terms of what the children were judging, and that this may have an impact on how they judged what was fair, in that in reality there may be many more options available. And the children sometimes suggested different options, and they might have thought that other options were more fair or otherwise. Thank you.